Monster making in AQWorlds Infinity. You may remember fighting Colonicus. He was a boss at the end of the 7 Deadly Dragons Gluttony storyline. He was reanimated for AQWorlds Infinity. This was originally created in AQWorlds using Flash, which is now called Adobe Animate. Now, all the monsters, NPCs, weapons, and everything else that you see in AQWorlds are all hand-drawn and animated in Flash, aka Adobe Animate. So the first thing they had to do was grab all the pieces from there. It says the first thing you'll discover poking around with the monsters is they are consistently inconsistent. Animated parts contain other animated parts, which sometimes contain other animated parts. Breaking apart one of these things requires a surprisingly amount of skill. Fortunately, our friend Colonicus here was a pretty simple one to rip apart. We stick the pieces in a sprite sheet that is the power of 2. This just means that the image size is one of these sizes, and then it shows the different sizes that they would be. It does not matter if we use Photoshop, Flash, or just put the parts into Unity and have it Sprite Atlas Builder do it for us. But the problem is doing it manually is we have to go back and reset all the pivot points. Also, there's no way to match up parts of the monster that have the same animation but different sized parts. Gotta love Spider. So Spider created a script that would tear apart a monster and build every little text file containing the pivot information. So this is what we're looking at here, the text file. Super important if we ever want to convert a large number of monsters who share roughly the same animation. It requires some prep work, but the end result's pretty good. Here's the Zardman that looks when the script is run. Sure, they need to be a lot of prep work for it to work, but this is pretty amazing. So then it shows all the pieces right here for the Zardman, which is of course one of the very classic AQWorld monsters. We built some special scripts to import all of these files into Unity. While we have this and some animation exporter scripts working, they still need more work and we'll have to wait until combat is finished. Currently, we are using every method mentioned above. So Colonicus is a boss monster and was arranged manually in Photoshop. You can see it right there. The Dino Sprite. This is a sprite sheet. It contains every part of the monster because this guy is a big boss monster. We're going to do something special with him. We're going to animate him with bones. So you can see all these bones right there. So the bones are the root bone, which is connected to the body bone. The body bone is connected to the upper bone. It's from the song. In Unity, all of these bones are added. Then the mesh are weighed in a way that tells the animator how strongly each bone affects the art around it. This will later allow the animator to do effects like breathing and other simple movements. Back in Flash, we did not have anything like this. So this feature will help us to do some really cool things with monsters in Infinity. That's going to be pretty cool. You can see right here the setup, and he looks like he's breathing out, or maybe that's his attack. Now, we must properly set up the monster. We're not ready to animate just yet. The monster needs to be set up with all his invisible parts, as essential things like the monster's shadow, which determines where they stand, their hitbox, where their name goes, where projectile fire, that's probably what the other thing was, where your spells and projectiles hit the monster, and more are put into a structure that is roughly the same for every monster. So you get the camera focus, so it focuses right here. Smile, you are on Candida camera. This was not a typo. You have no idea how hard it is to hold in the potty humor on this monster, which makes sense, seeing as Colonicus. We used to use separate files for the monster portraits, but now we are able to use things like the camera focus box above. So that's what you see up there. So it actually zooms in on the monster, on the actual monster, and you can see the animation right there. Moving the arm, moving the legs, that's pretty cool. Doing it in real time. The monster is finally ready to be animated. After exploring a lot of options for animation tools, we decided to animate straight in Unity. It provides the most security that the animations will be future-proof. We had back the original version of Spine and had a ton of licenses, but they introduced a runtime fee similar to what Unity did. So I am done endorsing and using third-party tools. It's far more likely that we will build our own animation tools at some point in the future. Animating with bones is way nicer than the way we animated many of our previous monsters. However, there is a gotcha. Animating with bones prevents us from having random parts or many duplicate parts. So the majority of our normal monsters will be animated the other way. Each monster has a number of required animations, and then you can see this is crazy. Like you think, oh, it's so easy to port a game because it already exists, but this is like completely rewriting everything. This is really mind-blowing when you think of the scope of the amount of work they're doing to get this game out there. Honestly, it would have been a lot easier to make a new game rather than port an old one. But anyways, so you've got the entry, idle, get up, attack 1, 2, and 3, die 1, 2, and 3, a cast, charge, casting, stun, intro, hit, fall, custom, like walking, idle. Oh my gosh, it's insane. As stated above, each monster must have all the required animations. These include things like idle and all the rest that I mentioned. Once the monsters animated is finally ready to go into the game. So if you thought it was super easy, you got to think again. The Asset Bundler tool. I'm proud of this. Warlock and I built this nifty editor tool together, combined with the thing Captain Warlock made for us. It allows whoever is creating the monster to create the asset bundle containing the new monster and upload it into the game directly. Before this, we needed to build the monster, upload it manually, create a database asset bundle, then create the monster entry, and then link it to the asset bundle entry. When we were doing it that way, I made a lot of mistakes, and it was frustrating trying to figure out which thing was wrong. So this is a great example of what I mean by building better tools. Of course, testers need better tools too. The Dev Arena. Here we go. You will be joining us here when the tech demo opens. J6 repurposed this map, so we had a place to test out all the new monsters we are now building. The goal was to build a place inspired by the launch nights of the original AQ. That is a place where monsters could be constantly updated and you could help put them to the test. The Book of Gore. And here's a little screenshot right here. The Book of Gore. Welcome to the Launch Night Arena. Your quest is to battle and break these new monsters, report bugs to Reens in the dev channel. Good luck in there. And then you've got several different monsters here that they're testing out. So that's kind of cool. The Book of Gore. So in the existing AQWorlds, these sort of pop-ups, which we call APOPs, are handmade parts of the map, but in Infinity, they are pulled straight out of the database. That means we can update them live. I think it'll be a good way to communicate with the status of the monster, what we need help testing, what players are already, what they've already reported, and what they're currently working on. Here's a little screenshot of some of the monsters that they have. So you've got the Zardman, you've got the Draconic or whatever it's called, and then the Slime. Right there. As of this post, the Dev Arena has barely been functional for a day. It is off to a really good start. Can't wait to test some stuff in there. Thank you and more from the Dev server. I hope you have enjoyed learning about our process of converting a monster from AQWorlds to AQWorlds Infinity. It's incredible watching all of these devs and the rest of the team working together to figure out all the aspects of this ambitious game project. We also had a surprise addition to the team this week. There's a spoiler in the screenshot above. I'll get to that in a second. The official announcement will be next week. Now, this is my opinion on who it is based on the screenshot. Team meetings are now daily for both the content and coding teams. The primary focus is preparing for the tech demo. Here's what's left to be done before we can start the tech demo. And here is a rough rundown. So, extreme testing on switching between AQWorld Web, which is a current version of the game, and AQWorld Infinity, which is the new upcoming game, to make sure we do not break your character in AQWorlds. Add a new Infinity server for tech demo testers, so we'd be getting our own server for that, meaning we're not using the dev server. Go through all maps and fix the character sizes, double check colliders, and add NPCs. And I'm assuming when they say go through all maps, I'm assuming they mean all the maps that are currently available in AQWorld Infinity, not every single map that is in AQWorlds, because there's definitely no way they would be porting all that. Add more content to the town and the dev arena, which I believe this is what we're going to have access to, is the town and the dev arena in the tech demo, but nothing beyond that, besides the gluttony, which they did talk about. Oh, and the Dragon's Lair, I believe, is also going to be available, because they did talk about that as well. Finish gluttony cutscenes, and add test quests, as well as add tech demo reward. So those of you who do get access to the tech demo will be getting a reward. And I'd like to animate in pretty up the login screen a bit. In regards to the new addition to the team, this is something I didn't show at the beginning of the video because I didn't want to just drop the bomb, even though actually the title of this video is probably already dropped the bomb, as I will most likely post it in the title. Right here, we have Nolgath. This is Nolgath. Now, if you guys are aware of who Nolgath in AQWorlds was, his other name was Miltonius. Now, Miltonius has gone off on his own and created his own game called AQWorlds, which I'm also a sponsor of and a donator to, I should say. Kickstarted it and all the rest of it. It's a great game. So, anyways, Miltonius is, I believe, the new team member they have that they brought in. I'm pretty sure. Now, they said they're going to be making an announcement this coming week in regards to who the actual person is, but my opinion is that this is Miltonius right here. Would not surprise me, since Artix did help with the whole launch of AQWorlds and all that, and they did this collaboration between AQWorlds and AQWorlds. So it would not surprise me at all if he was brought in for this, and that would be freaking amazing. What are your guys' opinions on this? And did you expect that the animation, I mean, this looks sick right here. That is really, really cool. They did a really good job with that. And with the animation, this type of thing being like this, it's going to be next level. So let me know what you guys think about this, because I'm interested to see what you would say about the animation. Did you think it was this complex to actually port a monster from AQWorlds to AQWorlds Infinity? And are you looking forward to trying out this game? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one.